Good morning and a very hearty welcome to Theodicy class. Well, we are with our fifth division, and then we started already with an introduction to phenomenological approach to religion or God experience, theodicy. Other things we have already completed. From the phenomenological perspective, how do we look at God in notion and how are we to understand? So that's all. We had the introduction already, and then we are supposed to start now with the religious consciousness. Clear? Religious consciousness. First of all, regarding consciousness, the students of philosophy should not get confused with 2-3 expressions. For us, very often while reading, it is clear that they don't make any distinction. Follow? So this one is conscience. Conscious. Consciousness. These three are three realities. Don't use one for the other. Now, conscious. What do you mean by conscious? Yes. He is conscious of what he is doing, becoming aware of what one does, and that is what is called conscious. He is conscious, she is conscious, she is conscious about what she is doing or he is doing and all. Yes, that is conscious. Then there is something called conscience. Is another word. Conscience. Conscience is that faculty that tells you what you do is right or wrong. So, conscience means that faculty with the help of which you become aware of what you do. Conscience is that faculty that tells you what is right and wrong. It's different from awareness. This is awareness. This is a faculty that tells you what is right and wrong, what you should do and what you should not do. And now the third expression is consciousness. Yes, since you have your consciousness, you are conscious of something. Therefore, please, in your reading as well as in your understanding, it's understood that when you read wrongly, it is clear that you have not understood what is written there. Therefore, this is conscience, is that faculty that tells you what is right and wrong, and conscious means becoming aware of something or anything. Yes. Yes, you are aware, conscious that another theodicy class is going on. Yes, when you are done. Consciousness is that faculty with the help of which you become conscious of something. Therefore, 3 words are to be distinguished, carefully noted. Now, that being just as an introduction, well, we have seen phenomenology, the phenomenological understanding. Well, we look at reality not from an objectification point, subject object distinction. I don't talk much about it because you have seen already in various stages, okay? But rather in phenomenological approach, we approach reality from a mystery point of view. Yes, the mystery has to reveal to you, not that you try to objectify it. That is what was the introduction given last time already. Now we enter into very important aspect while dealing with theodicy, namely moral consciousness. Okay, I made the distinction between conscience and consciousness. Now, what is, before ever we go into the matter, what is religious consciousness, we need to talk something in general about consciousness. Consciousness in general. Then only you will be able to understand what is religious consciousness. Now, if you borrow the terminology from modern philosophy, we say all our knowledge begins with experience. In other words, experience is the source of knowledge. So, various types of experiences gets sedimented and thus consciousness is formed. How is consciousness formed? Various types of experiences. Experiences are manifold, not only one type. Well, we will come to that. What are the various types of experiences? But then the general theory regarding consciousness is that various types of experiences gets sedimented. What do you mean by sedimented? Yes, you put the rice into the water, stir it for some time, take the water out, keep it there. What happens? Gets sedimented, and you can again separate the water, and at the down layer there is the, yes, the color and smell and taste and all that you have from the rice is in the powder form is sedimented there. So too, experience, various types of experiences get sedimented. Now you received a beating from someone, you received an applause from someone, all these get sedimented. As soon as you see that person, immediately, yes, you know, he is the one who gave you one, yes, punishment or someone. So in other words, everything, all what we experience gets sedimented and thus consciousness is formed. Conscience, conscious, consciousness, I have already said. So, various types of experiences get sedimented, experiences get sedimented, and thus consciousness is formed. Therefore, there are different, you don't find this in the notes because this is part of ethics. Ethics comes only in the second semester, but that's why I am giving in elaboration here. So, experience gets sedimented, consciousness is formed. Therefore, there are different types of consciousness. What are they? You can think about it. One, noetic consciousness means knowledge, consciousness connected with knowledge. Knowledge. That's why in this first standard and all, E studied. And when you are studying the 10th standard, you don't have to study it again because it gets sedimented. 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. 1 into 2 is, yes, 2 into 2 and all that you study in the early classes. And when you reach 10th, oh mummy, let me go and study. Yes, those things. No, you don't have to, because it's already sedimented, and thus consciousness of knowledge is formed. That's why in the 5th standard, 6th standard and all, teachers are 8 into 5. Within no time, you don't say, sister, teacher, let me sit and see. No, 8 into 5, 40 you say. 10 into 5, 50 you say. Because knowledge gets sedimented. So there is something called noetic consciousness. Consciousness that deals with knowledge. Well, there is something called aesthetic consciousness. Yes. Regarding beauty, yes, we say, oh, what a wonderful garden, what a beautiful lady, what a beautiful tree, what a handsome man, because you have the consciousness of beauty in your mind. So, beauty. Okay, another one. Yes, you talk about what you have done is right. What you did is wrong. You should have been present. You should not have gone. And then, yes, you need to respect your parents. You should not kill. And all that is connected with. Well, you have ethical consciousness. Consciousness that deals with right, wrong, etc. Should not, and all that is. So you find within your consciousness, yes, something for knowledge, something for beauty, something for ethics, and then there is something called talking about, yes, holy. Therefore, that is called religious consciousness. Yes, God. So in other words, various experiences get sedimented, and thus consciousness in general is formed. Consciousness in general is formed, and within the framework of your consciousness, well, we can divide it still further. But then, yes, knowledge, you have it. Beauty, you have it. Sense of right and wrong, ethics, you have it. Yes, sense of holy, you have it. So, this is what is called consciousness. Therefore, in order to, while talking about God, well, we talk about religious consciousness. While talking about ethics, you have ethical consciousness. While talking about knowledge, you have noetic consciousness. While talking about beauty, ugly and all, you have, yes, what you call aesthetic consciousness. So at least remember these 4 divisions within consciousness. And consciousness is to be defined as various experiences. Various experiences is something like 12 categories of Kant. Quality, quantity, relation, modality. All what we experience is put into language with the help of these 4 categories. 4 into 3, namely 12 categories. You have seen it already while studying your 5th semester. The same thing was in a different form, a slightly different form, while studying your 2nd semester of Aristotle. Therefore, it's already there. Therefore, consciousness, yes, various experiences, types of experiences that get sedimented, thus consciousness is formed. And for us, we are going to take now religious consciousness. When ethics come, we will take ethical consciousness. Yeah, ethical consciousness is very important. There are 6, 7 points in that. Well, what do you find within the ethical consciousness? Or more, it is called moral consciousness. Ethical or moral consciousness. This is aesthetic, what you call theodicy. That is called more religious consciousness. This is called moral consciousness. So, noetic consciousness, aesthetic consciousness, moral consciousness, religious consciousness. And now, what are a little anticipation of your second semester now, or the last semester, sixth semester? What are the content of moral consciousness? If you talk that way only, then we will be able to come to theodicy. Yes, moral consciousness. What are the content of moral consciousness? There are 5, 6. What are they? Yes, the consciousness that tells you certain actions are to be done, certain actions are to be avoided. Your conscience, moral consciousness tells you certain actions are right, they are to be done. Certain actions are wrong, they are to be avoided. In other words, yes, do right and keep away from, don't do wrong. And now, again, among what is to be done as right, certain actions are to be by all means done. Certain actions are to be by all means to be avoided. Do not kill at any time, at any rate. Yes, by to be avoided. So like that. And then there is a sense of satisfaction and all that is beautiful there. 6 points of moral consciousness. Now, well, our interest here now is not moral consciousness, religious consciousness. And so, when we analyze religious consciousness, we find within the religious consciousness, there is something called holy or sacred. So, in other words, the content of religious consciousness is the sacred or the holy. And that's what we are going to talk now. How can we define it? How is it different from other consciousness and all that is. Therefore, a phenomenological study of it. In the sense, you study the phenomenon of consciousness, particularly religious consciousness. That's why in the last class I said, we are not going to take up any particular religion, either Hinduism or Christianity or any other revealed religions. What we take, the content of all the religions. In all religious consciousness, you find, well, there is something called the holy, the sacred. Follow? That is the point. So, please remember, consciousness. How do you get consciousness? Various experiences sedimented and thus consciousness is formed. Consciousness are of different types, namely in connection with knowledge, there is a noetic consciousness. In connection with beauty, there is a aesthetic consciousness. In relation to ethics, there is a moral consciousness. And in relation to the holy, the sacred, there is a religious consciousness. So, in other words, the content of religious consciousness is the sacred, the holy. Keep this. While talking about religious consciousness, you can also talk about, yes, various other types of, yes, let title be various kinds of consciousness, yes, or consciousness and its subdivisions. Okay, it's up to you and to impress the professor. Clear? Therefore, now we go into the details of religious consciousness. Clear? Okay. And thus, we slowly begin. And we will be, for this study, we are taking Rudolf Otto, a German philosopher, who has given a lot of insight. He studied the sacred in a beautiful way and defined holy. He calls the content of religious consciousness the sacred, the holy. And thus, well, there are also, because of this sacredness attached, Well, you have also sacred places, sacred time, sacred persons. Yes, those who deal with, yes, we call them sacred in the sense, yes. Catholic Church calls a Supreme Pontiff Holy Father, Sacred Father. Follow, no? Yes, sacred places we have. Follow, sacred time we have. Yes, all that is connected with, that will be coming, we are slowly. And now Rudolfo Otto's definition, a beautiful one which everyone should study. Yes, the sacred is mysterium tremendum et fascinans. We will go into that. A mystery tremendum et fascinans. Tremendous as well as fascinating. I had already hinted about Moses. He saw the fire. Fire is not getting extinguished. But then it is going on. And then he is attracted to it. At the same time he is frightened. So mystery is, the holy or the sacred is mysterium, is a mystery, tremendum, tremendous, et and fascinans, fascinating. You are attracted to it, but then the fear is making you go away from it. At the same time, so fascinating that you are. So that is what is called the content of religious consciousness. So that's what is our analysis all about. So we'll go into the details of religious consciousness. Good. Every consciousness is an awareness of an experience. Yes, that is. Every consciousness is an awareness of an experience. Consciousness, how do you get consciousness? Experience. Get sedimented. Various types of experiences get sedimented and thus consciousness is formed. And now we are telling every consciousness, yes, every consciousness is an awareness of an experience. Yes, a particular experience. You become conscious. Somebody is asking you, Vijnana Nilayam, Institute of Philosophy and Religion, where is it? You become conscious of Janambet. Yes, you know where Janambet is. Almost 13 kilometers from Eluru, Chindalipudi Road, Janambet. Well, you find a big entrance gate and then you enter in, move forward, you find various study houses and thus you come on the left side, Vijnana Nilayam Institute of Philosophy and Religion. As you pass through and at any moment, at any day, when you are called, where is Vijnana Nilayam? Yes, it's from Eluru, 13 kilometers to Chindalipudi Road. Okay, or Khammam Road now, it's another state, therefore, okay, interstate highway we can call it. And then you start narrating because we become conscious of it. So, every consciousness is an experience of awareness of an experience. It's a particular experience. And religious consciousness means an awareness of an experience of the sacred. So, religious consciousness means it's an experience of the sacred. Not secret, sacred. For some students, there is no distinction between secret and sacred. And that's why some call secret heart. Sacred heart is called secret heart. So experience of the sacred. Religious consciousness is okay. First of all, the religious consciousness evades all language. Please remember. Religious consciousness evades all languages. What does it mean? You try to describe, you try to define it, well, you are incapable of. Well, we come into the deeper analysis of it, then you will understand. Yes, certain things you cannot. A big thunder and lightning and all that is, well, however you try to describe, you escape because it escapes all your imagination, description, categories that you have for description. That's the point. Therefore, yes, first of all, the religious consciousness evades, escapes. Clear? Evades all languages, escapes. The moment you try to say something about it, you are lacking words, terminologies, expressions for it. Then finally you say, my God, I cannot explain it completely. That's the thing. Okay. Okay, evades all language. Secondly, it is vague but grips the person. Grips the person. Yes, these are unique experiences that grips the person. At the same time, well, he is incapable of narrating it. It is vague. But it grips the person. Okay. And then, thirdly, described by having recourse to other experiences. No. You say, yes, recourse to other experiences. In other words, in order to explain it, you make use of other experiences. In other words, parallels. Yes, you make use of stories or anecdotes. It is something like, you say. But why? You are not able to enter into the heart of it. That's the point. So these are 3 points you need to remember. First of all, yes, awareness or experience of the sacred, yes, evades all language. You cannot 100% put into linguistic expression what you experience, the sacred. Secondly, it is vague, sometimes it's not very clear, and grips the person. Thirdly, described having recourse to other experiences. So in other words, you have to have recourse to other experiences to explain about it. Clear? Okay, that being the fact, religious consciousness, we go into the content of religious consciousness. Content. Content of, what is the content of religious consciousness? That is what we are going to see. Okay. To fully understand religious consciousness, we need to talk into the content of religious consciousness. So, we need to talk about the content of religious consciousness. Every experience is distinguished by its content or the object of religious consciousness. Content of or the object of experience. For example, ethical experience. Yes. As the ethical experience is understood by the content of what is ethically good, and aesthetic experience is understood by the content aesthetically beautiful. So also the content of religious consciousness is clarified in the terminology of Rudolf Otto, the sacred. The sacred or the holy. Okay. The numinous, N-U-M-I-N-O-U-S, the numinous, the sacred, the holy, the numinous, N-U-M-I-N-O-U-S. It really means the presiding deity. Okay. Religious consciousness is thus the experience of the holy, of the sacred. Clear? So, the content of religious consciousness is the experience of the holy, the sacred. Okay. On this context, we need to distinguish the sacred from the profane. Okay, that's understood. Opposite of it is okay. The sacred in the first place is the first experience which indicates untouchableness, precaution, reverence, awe, silence, etc. So, look at the sacred. The first place is the first experience, which indicates untouchableness. Yes, that is what Moses felt. He wanted to go there, but then he was afraid to go. Clear? So there is something there that is attracting you, but then you are incapable of going to it. So, untouchableness, precaution, reverence. You have the reverence. That's why you don't want to go into that. Precaution, you take a kind of, yes, no, I am not able to go there. I should not go there, and all that is. Ove is a kind of wonder-like, A-W-E, ove. Silence, some people simply keep quiet because they are incapable of articulating it into words. And the profane is characterized, on the other hand, by the experience of ordinariness, disrespect, worldly, and nothing very unique and all. If we analyze the various religions and religious experiences, we find that in some religions, for example, in the Hindu religion, the sacred is indicated by or referred to as the really real. Yes. And then the light. In Indian philosophy, introduction to Indian philosophy, studied it. Clear? Yes, the divine is expressed as, yes, the light. Then Akasha. Why Akasha? You are not able to fathom it. Why light? You are not able to completely measure it and experience it. You get only a glimpse of it. So like that, so many, yeah, that's why we said, yes, we have recourse to other experiences. Clear? That's what is already explained. Okay. And then, okay, light, the immanent principle. In Buddhism, it is marked by referring to the state of freedom. That is what is called, yes, what do you call, nirvana. From death or immortality. In the Chinese religion, it is expressed by order or Tao, T-A-O, and all that is. From these terminologies, it is clear that the sacred is explained in contrast to the profane by giving it a transcendental significance. Okay. This significance is extended. The sacred, the significance is extended, yes, to, yes, so many things. Places, extended to places. Sacredness is extended to places. Thus, it becomes holy places. Okay, so it's extended to places. Okay, and then to time. Sacred time. And then to persons. Yes, you know it. In every religion, the highest authority of the religion is expressed with the, yes, His holiness and all that. Clear? Persons, holy persons. Look at holy places, sacred time, holy persons. And then also to persons, holy place, to actions. Look at. So it is called sacred actions. Yes, Eucharistic celebration, you remember. Yes, consecratory words and all that. He took the chalice, said the blessing, gave the chalice, bread, blessed it, gave it to his disciples. Finally, yes, all of us bow. Why? Yes, sacred actions. Clear? So in other words, the content of religious consciousness is the sacred, the holy. That is to be distinguished from profane, what is unholy and all that is. And its sacredness is extended. Extended to places, to time, to persons, and to actions. Thus, we have holy places, sacred time, holy persons and sacred actions. You see, which is all different from what is our traditional, ordinary understanding. Clear? So this is a phenomenological approach, and thus, yes, we have, yes, sacred places, sacred time, holy persons, holy actions, and all that is. We say the content of the religious consciousness as the sacred or numinous is expressed and extended in man's religious consciousness in place, in time, in person, and in action. This whole expression is well summed up by Rudolf Otto. Yes, we have already introduced the person. Yes, as with this we wind up. Yes, as numinous is mysterium tremendum et fascinans. So we introduce the theme so that tomorrow we will analyze it. What is that? Yes, according to Rudolf Otto, yes, the religious content of religious consciousness is sacred, and that is opposed to or different from profane, and thus the sacredness is extended also to places, persons, time and actions. And thus we have sacred persons, sacred time, sacred places, sacred or holy sacred actions. The whole thing is, now the mystery, the sacred is, the holy is defined by Rudolf Otto as numinous, N-U-M-I-N-I-O-U-S, numinous is mysterium, 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 mystery, M-Y-S-T-E-R-I-U-M, mysterium, tremendum, tremendum, T-R-E, M-E-N-D-U-M, tremendum, et fascinans, F-A-S-C-I-N-A-N-S. Please note it. So, the sacred is defined as numinous is mysterium tremendum et fascinans. Yeah. The numinous is, the sacred is mystery, is a mystery. Yes, mysterium means mystery. Tremendum, tremendous, and et means and fascinans, fascinating. Fascinating means what? Attracting. Tremendous, so much so you don't like to go into it. Clear? So, mysterium, tremendum, et fascinans. And then we will be in the next class analyzing what do you mean by mysterium, what is meant by tremendum, what is meant by fascinans. That will be dealt in the next class. Thank you. Thank you very much.